Chosen one, stop exactly what you are doing right now. Do not scroll past this message. I am not asking you to listen today. I am warning you. Tonight is not just another night on your calendar. Tonight is a critical hinge in your destiny. The enemy has been working overtime this week to keep you distracted, hoping you will swipe away before you hear this truth. He knows that the revelation I am about to hand you will permanently break the cycle of delay in your bloodline. Heaven intercepted your feed tonight because you are finally ready to receive the answer you cried out for. Lock your attention on my voice. You did not arrive at this video by accident. Heaven arranged this encounter because of what you have been carrying in secret. That heavy pressure in your chest, that quiet exhaustion settling deep into your bones, it is the kind of tired that sleep simply cannot fix. You have spent the last few weeks wondering why you feel so drained, why the atmosphere around you feels incredibly heavy, and why you suddenly want to isolate yourself from everyone you know. You thought you were losing your mind. The world tried to convince you that this was just a normal season of stress, but I am here to reframe your reality. What you are experiencing is not a clinical condition. It is intense spiritual discernment. Your spirit has been working overtime in the unseen realm, fighting battles and shielding people who do not even know they are under attack. You are a cycle breaker, and carrying the weight of a generational shift takes a massive toll on the physical body. You are exhausted because your spirit refuses to rest while your family is under siege. Notice your breathing right now. It is slowing down. Your shoulders are dropping. That calm is not something you created on your own. It is the physical recognition of your soul, aligning with the frequency of divine truth. Do not look away. Every second you stay connected to this message, a layer of invisible stress is being removed from your shoulders. You are not just listening. You are participating in your own spiritual restoration. This entire message is yours. It costs you nothing. I prepared it because it was placed on my heart, not because anything is expected of you in return. I am simply a conduit for the instruction you have been praying for. Listen carefully, because the darkness is absolutely terrified of what you are about to understand about your own mind. They do not want you to remember who you truly are, and they certainly do not want you to reclaim what was taken from you. For a very long time you have noticed a subtle change in how you process the world. The sharpness you had as a child, the brilliant creative energy that made you stand out, feels terribly distant now. You often lose your words mid-sentence. A thick fog seems to sit right behind your eyes, blocking the clarity and the deep intuition you know you possess. You find yourself reading the same sentence twice just to understand it, and you wonder where your mental power went. The people around you told you it was just age or a lack of sleep or a lack of discipline. They lied to you. You are not lazy, and you are not losing your edge. That mental fog is not a natural decline. It is an intentional spiritual attack. Your capacity to hear the voice of God and recognize divine synchronicities was stolen from you at the neural level. The enemy targeted your mind because your mind is the exact instrument designed to change the atmosphere of any room you enter. A fully activated chosen one is a threat to every dark entity assigned to your bloodline. There is a specific reason why you have been waking up at 3 in the morning lately, feeling a strange mixture of alertness and dread. I am going to tell you exactly which unseen entity is calling you at that hour in the next part of this message. I will also reveal the exact tool heaven uses to restore your stolen clarity. But first, you must understand why you specifically were targeted for this warfare and how heaven is positioning you for a massive return. What you are feeling right now, that stirring deep inside your chest, that quiet recognition, is not a coincidence. It is the sound of a new accounting period opening in heaven. Tonight is a boundary line. Everything before this exact moment belongs to a version of your mind that was operating without what it was designed to have. You survived on a fraction of your spiritual capacity because that was all you had access to. But everything after tonight does not have to look like your past. The season of hidden suffering is officially closing. Think about the isolation you endured over the last few months. You watched doors close abruptly. You saw relationships fade without any logical explanation. You felt completely forgotten by the people you spent years pouring your energy into. You thought you were being rejected. You thought heaven was punishing you for some mistake you made. But heaven does not punish chosen ones with silence. Heaven protects them with it. God isolated you to insulate your inner architecture from frequencies that could not travel with you to this next dimension. You have always been the emotional sponge for everyone around you. You walked into rooms and immediately absorbed the heavy atmosphere. You extended grace to people who only deserved your distance, and they took advantage of your pure heart. The enemy tried to convince you that your intense empathy was a weakness. They wanted you to believe that being sensitive meant you were fragile, but your gentleness was never the ceiling. It was the foundation. You were never meant to be tamed by their manipulation. You were meant to be trusted with massive spiritual authority. The enemy knows that if you ever regain full access to your mental and spiritual faculties, you will become unstoppable. That is why the attack on your life has not been physical. It has been cognitive. It has been a slow, quiet draining of your mental sharpness. But heaven always prepares a countermeasure before the enemy even launches the attack. And this brings us to a profound truth that most people sitting in spiritual communities have never been told about. Not because it contradicts what is sacred, but because it came from a direction most of us are not watching. Before we go any further, I need you to hold a specific number in your mind. 1981. That is a specific year. In 1981, a specific discovery won the most prestigious prize in science, the Nobel Prize. A small group of neuroscientists found something about the way the human brain is designed that explains everything spiritually sensitive people have felt, but have never been able to name. When you hear what that number means for the way your mind operates, you will understand why everything I have said so far is not poetry. It is spiritual architecture. This discovery proves that the fog you have been fighting is not a character flaw. It is a neurological reality with a specific address. A doctor in New York spent 20 years studying this exact phenomenon, proving that the human brain was designed to operate in a state of complete synchronization. It is something so fundamental to your divine calling, yet so simple in its application that it sounds almost suspicious when you first hear it. I am going to tell you exactly what they found and how it restores your stolen clarity later in this message. But right now I need you to hold this one question in your spirit. What if the reason your mind feels foggy is not age, and it is not a lack of discipline? What if a massive portion of your God-given potential was systematically suppressed since childhood? The answer to that question will change the trajectory of your entire bloodline. It is the exact reason why the warfare against your mind has been so intense this year. If you feel a sudden urge to scroll away right now, or if your mind suddenly feels distracted, pay very close attention. The enemy rarely attacks hardest when you are stagnant. He attacks hardest when you are minutes away from elevation. The closer you get to true clarity, the stronger the pull will be to return to the noise. You must resist it. The algorithm did not bring you here, and curiosity is not what is keeping you here. Your awareness chose to stay because your spirit recognizes the sound of rescue. You are standing on sacred ground tonight. Heaven is recalibrating your nervous system as you listen. The forces of darkness are panicking because they cannot stop the relocation order that has already been issued for your life. But before you can step into that new spiritual zip code, we must confront the lie that has been holding you captive. We must look at the exact mechanism the enemy used to disconnect you from your own power. For years you have listened to people who do not understand your calling, try to diagnose your pain. They handed you clinical labels and told you to accept them. They called your deep spiritual heaviness a simple lack of motivation. They looked at your absolute physical exhaustion and told you that you just needed to push through and try harder. But I am here to dismantle that lie permanently. You do not need to try harder, and you are not broken. What they called a breakdown was actually your spirit refusing to conform to a world that was trying to silence your divine frequency. You made a decision recently in absolute silence that you thought no one noticed. You were tired, you felt defeated, and you allowed a moment of doubt to dictate your response to a specific situation. Heaven recorded that moment. Do not be afraid, because you are still completely chosen, still fiercely loved, and still covered by grace. I am not keeping a record of your failures. I am here to tell you that this quiet action activated a chain of events that is unfolding right now. Heaven used that very moment of weakness to reposition you for a rescue you could not orchestrate yourself. Look back at the earliest years of your life. Before the world told you who you were supposed to be, you possessed a profound, undeniable sharpness. You learned quickly, you saw things others missed, and you felt deeply connected to the invisible currents of the universe. That was not just childhood innocence. Studies have proven that 98% of children operate at a level of pure creative genius. You had that exact power. Your brain was firing on all cylinders, fully synchronized and fully open to the voice of God. But something happened as you grew older. The modern way of life systematically suppresses that divine cognitive architecture from the time we step into the classroom. The noise, the constant demands, the toxic environments you were forced to navigate, they slowly began to shut down the connection between the two sides of your mind. This was not a natural process of growing up. It was a calculated spiritual theft happening at the neural level. The enemy used the endless grind of survival to slowly deactivate the exact instrument God gave you to shift the atmosphere. Chosen one, anointed one. Lock your attention right here and do not let the outside noise pull you away. The enemy wants your mind to wander right now because we are exposing his most effective strategy. He could not destroy your spirit, so he decided to fog your receiver. He knew that if he could just keep your brain running at a fraction of its designed capacity, you would never recognize the open doors placed directly in front of you. You would be too exhausted to walk into your own promised land. This is why you must stop apologizing for the season you are in right now. You are not lazy for needing rest, and you are not falling behind. Your soul is desperately trying to operate a massive spiritual calling using a neurological system that has been artificially suppressed. You have been running a race with weights tied to your ankles, blaming yourself for not running faster. But the weights were placed there by an adversary who is absolutely terrified of what happens when you finally wake up. Your true power is still there, completely intact, just lying dormant beneath the surface. The restoration of your mind is not going to happen through more discipline or more endless struggling. Heaven does not ask you to fight a neurological battle with physical willpower. The path to your deliverance requires an understanding of how exactly God designed the hemispheres of your brain to receive his instructions. What feels like an impossible blockage right now is actually a physiological lock waiting for a very specific key. And the blueprints for that key were hidden long ago, waiting for the exact moment you were ready to receive them. When you look at the greatest leaders in Scripture, you will see a pattern that exactly mirrors your current season of suffering. Think about David before he ever took the throne. He was anointed with holy oil chosen by God, but then he was immediately sent back into the isolated fields to wait. He endured years of exhaustion and loneliness while being hunted by an enemy who knew his true potential. David was not being punished by the wilderness, and he was not forgotten by heaven. He was being protected and prepared so his physical body could handle the immense weight of the crown without breaking. I am about to tell you exactly why the sharp memory and brilliant clarity of your childhood suddenly vanished. But first, you must hear this truth about Moses to understand why your own personal desert was absolutely necessary. Moses spent 40 years in complete obscurity after leaving the palace, tending sheep in a quiet wilderness. He thought his grand destiny was over, and he believed his voice no longer mattered to the world. But heaven was using the deafening silence of the desert to strip away the false identity of Egypt, so he could finally hear the voice of the Creator in the burning bush. Your season of fog, delay, and extreme isolation has served the exact same purpose. The world told you that your isolation was a sign of failure, but heaven calls it a divine incubation. God isolated you to protect your inner architecture from toxic frequencies and counterfeit relationships that could not travel with you to your next dimension. The silence you have endured was never a rejection from the Most High. It was a calculated period of refinement to ensure that when your power is fully restored, you will not be crushed by the magnitude of your own calling. This brings us to a profound revelation about how the physical body connects to the unseen spiritual realm. God did not just create your spirit, He meticulously designed the biological instrument that houses it. Your physical brain is divided into two distinct hemispheres, and they were originally engineered by the Creator to operate in perfect, flawless synchronization. When those two halves communicate seamlessly, your mind acts as a perfectly tuned receiver for divine instruction and heavenly provision. In that synchronized state, you can instantly recognize synchronicities, discern the hidden motives of those around you, and hear the whispers of the Holy Spirit with absolute clarity. But the enemy knows exactly how this biological antenna works, and he knows he cannot touch your eternal soul. Since he cannot destroy your spirit, he intentionally attacks the physical receiver. He uses the trauma, the chronic stress, and the endless noise of modern survival to disrupt the connection between the two hemispheres of your brain. You are still praying with incredible faith, and your spirit is still crying out for deliverance, but your physical receiver is misaligned. That is exactly why your prayers often feel like they are hitting a brass ceiling, and why the clarity you seek always feels just out of reach. The spiritual signal from heaven is incredibly strong, but your biological instrument has been intentionally scrambled. If you leave right now, you are walking back onto the battlefield without a weapon. Heaven literally blocked the algorithm so you could hear this truth tonight, and walking away means leaving your deliverance on the table. The enemy is actively hoping you will simply close this message, go back to the noise, and accept the mental fog as your permanent reality. Do not give the darkness that satisfaction. You are moments away from understanding the exact mechanism that restores your divine frequency. Your breakthrough requires your physical agreement and your complete focus right now. Now, I want to close the loop that has been open since the beginning of this message, because I asked you to hold a specific number in your spirit earlier the year 1981. I want to tell you right now why I waited until this exact moment to bring it back to your attention. What those researchers found in that laboratory was not just scientific information. It was a physical solution to a spiritual attack. And a solution only becomes truly useful once you understand the massive shape of the unseen problem it solves. You now understand the shape of that warfare. The enemy has spent years trying to convince you that God stopped speaking to you. They wanted you to believe that the blessings meant for your bloodline were somehow given to someone else. But here is the profound truth that shatters that lie completely. The provision heaven arranged for you never moved. The open doors were never locked. The enemy did not steal your destiny because they do not have the authority to touch what the Most High has ordained. What they stole was your ability to recognize the provision standing right in front of you. When the two hemispheres of your brain are intentionally disconnected by the heavy noise of this world, your spiritual receiver goes offline. You can be standing directly next to the exact miracle you prayed for, and you will not even see it. The fog behind your eyes acts like a blindfold, keeping you wandering in circles, while your actual breakthrough is waiting just inches away. This is why you have felt so incredibly frustrated. The signal from heaven is broadcasting at maximum power, but your biological antenna is pointing in the wrong direction. Let that realization wash over you right now. The delay you experienced was not a punishment for your past mistakes, and it certainly was not because your faith was too weak. You have been blaming your own heart for a physiological blockade orchestrated by forces of darkness. They knew that if your mind ever cleared, you would instantly step into the authority that terrifies them. The entire strategy of hell was to keep you exhausted, foggy, and completely unaware of your true cognitive capacity. But the season of operating in the dark ends tonight. What I am about to show you is going to connect something you have felt deeply in your own experience with something discovered in that Nobel Prize winning laboratory. Listen carefully, because this next part is going to reach places inside you that you have never been able to put into words. I am going to reveal exactly how the receiver is repaired and how your mind is brought back online. The restoration of your original power is closer than you can possibly imagine. Dr. Roger Sperry won the Nobel Prize in 1981 for a discovery that proves everything we have discussed. He proved that the human brain is divided into two distinct hemispheres that were designed to operate in perfect synchronization. When a person is born, their mind is naturally in this synchronized state. Studies show that 98% of children operate at a level of pure creative genius. But as we grow, the toxic noise of modern survival disrupts this connection. Today, less than 1 in 1,000 adults maintain that original whole brain activation. A woman from California described what this disconnection felt like before she found a solution. She had tried every spiritual practice, meditating and praying for hours, but she kept hitting a wall of absolute exhaustion. Her spirit believed the truth, but her physical body could not feel it. After 10 days of using a specific restoration tool, she said a channel that had been completely blocked was suddenly opened, not because she tried harder, but because her physical receiver was finally repaired. A man from Texas described a very similar breakthrough in his own life. He spent years carrying the heavy burdens of everyone around him, while his own mind slowly filled with a thick, relentless fog. He said his prayers felt like they were bouncing off the ceiling, broadcasting on the right frequency, but using a broken antenna. 2 weeks later, he woke up and realized his mind was running on full capacity again. The fog that had been so constant he stopped noticing, it was entirely gone. That transformation happened because of what a specific team of researchers spent years building. A team of neuroscientists, led by Dr. Daniel Barone in New York, took over an hour of clinical neural sync technology and compressed it into an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence. All it requires is 8 minutes a day with your eyes closed and your headphones on. They call it the Genius Switch. The Genius Switch is not a brainwave product, and it is not a simple meditation track. It is a targeted auditory sequence specifically engineered to reconnect the two hemispheres of your brain, restoring the exact whole brain activation you possessed as a child. If you have tried binaural beats or standard frequencies and found them disappointing, Dr. Barone explains that sound waves alone are absolutely incomplete. The Genius Switch targets hemisphere synchronization at the whole brain level, producing an entirely different category of restoration. But the Genius Switch is not for everyone. Most people who hear about this will scroll past because they have accepted the fog in their mind as a permanent condition. The fact that you are still here is proof that your spirit is ready for the restoration this tool was built to provide. 18,456 is not a random statistic. That is the size of the community of chosen ones who decided their mind deserved what their spirit had already claimed. Colleagues of Dr. Barone suggested this protocol would be an incredible value, even at $500, considering in-home neurofeedback machines cost upwards of $7,000. But it was not released at $500 or even the standard $49 today. The investment to access this restoration is only $39, which includes 4 specific bonuses and an unconditional guarantee. If it does not clear your fog, every single dollar is returned. But let me put this differently. $39 is not the actual price. $39 is simply the gap between the exhausted version of you and the fully activated version you were designed to be. The true cost is what you have already been paying every single day. The synchronization stays disrupted. This window of opportunity will not stay open indefinitely. The door standing in front of you right now is not something you can just schedule for tomorrow. The provision heaven has arranged for you requires a receiver that is fully online today. You must be careful, because if you search for similar names on standard streaming platforms, you will find imitations. Dr. Barone and his team studied them and found they contain absolutely no neural sync technology. The authentic sequence took years of clinical refinement, which is exactly why it is only available through their direct page. If your spirit confirms, this is the exact tool you have been praying for. The path to access it is located in the description below and in the pinned comment. A physical tool does not replace God. A tool does not replace your spiritual obedience. It does not surrender your burdens for you, and it does not walk through the doors for you. What the Creator is doing in your life is not conditional on any earthly instrument, but a tool that repairs your physical receiver, gives the instructions of heaven a clear place to land. Let us return now to the deeper current of what your spirit is being called to do tonight. The season of your profound isolation is officially breaking. The heavy fog that has surrounded your major decisions is lifting right now. In the next 72 hours, you are going to experience a level of absolute clarity that will terrify the enemy. The doors that have remained stubbornly shut for years are going to open, not because you are forcing them, but because you are finally walking toward them with a synchronized mind. Heaven is rewriting the financial and relational coordinates of your destiny exactly as you listen to my voice. Every single second you continue to stay connected to this message, another layer of invisible trauma is being dismantled. You are not just sitting here listening to a voice on a screen. You are actively participating in your own physical and spiritual healing. The algorithm did not keep you here. Your spirit anchored you here because it knew exactly what medicine you needed tonight. Do not let your focus drift away now, because the completion of this process requires your full and undivided awareness. The darkness genuinely believed they had you trapped in a permanent cycle of profound exhaustion. They thought if they could just keep your brain running on empty, you would eventually surrender your massive divine assignment. But they severely underestimated the resilience of a true cycle breaker. The very pressure they used to try and crush your spirit actually forged the unshakable authority you are about to step into. Your waiting was never wasted. It was weaponized by heaven to destroy the exact forces that tried to bury your bloodline. And for the chosen one who felt something profound stir inside them, when the mind was mentioned earlier, that specific door remains open in the description below. It is a very small physical step. But small steps taken from a clear and restored mind have the power to completely change entire generational seasons. That is the only time I will mention that specific path again. What remains in this message belongs entirely to the deeper sealing of your spirit and the official closing of your wilderness chapter. When your physical receiver is brought fully back online, the constant need to defend yourself and explain your beautiful heart to people who misunderstand you will completely vanish. You will no longer feel the urge to over-explain your boundaries or apologize for your God-given power. The absolute peace that surpasses all earthly understanding will become your permanent operational frequency. False friends and energy vampires will naturally fall away from your life because your new restored frequency will actually make them physically uncomfortable. You have stayed through the absolute depths of this revelation. That is not passive behavior, and it is certainly not mere entertainment. That is a deliberate decision your spirit made long before your conscious mind even caught up. You have passed the test of spiritual discernment by refusing to rush through this divine encounter, and decisions that begin in the spirit do not end when the video stops playing. They end with the bold steps of obedience you take when you walk away from the screen. We are about to enter the most holy moment of this divine appointment. I need you to gather your focus and completely silence any remaining distractions in your physical space. The prophetic decree we are about to speak into the atmosphere is going to permanently lock the enemy out of your mental sanctuary. Prepare your heart right now, because what we are about to declare together will be officially recorded in the courts of heaven as the permanent end of your delay. The sealing is about to begin. If you close this message right now, you walk out of the room right before your name is called. Place your hand over your heart and take one final deep breath. We are going to speak a declaration of absolute authority into the unseen realm. Your voice carries the weight of a spiritual decree, and when you speak these words, the enemy must permanently release his grip on your mind. Speak this out loud with me right now. I am chosen, and I am no longer available for confusion or delay. I release the heavy burdens I was never meant to carry, and my mind is being restored to its original divine design. The generational cycle of fog permanently ends with me. Type the words "I am restored" in the comments as a physical sign of your spiritual agreement. Your comment is your signature on the relocation order of heaven. Take a moment to like this video as a small act of faith. This simple action helps this exact truth reach another chosen one who is struggling in the dark. Subscribe to this channel immediately so you do not miss the prophetic instructions coming in the next 72 hours. Share this message with someone who has been unusually quiet lately. Be the moving company that delivers their heavenly relocation order. Close your eyes for just one moment. Imagine waking up 14 days from now. The thick fog that has been sitting heavily behind your eyes for months is completely gone. The prayer that felt like it was hitting a brass ceiling is finally landing exactly where it belongs. The massive decision you have been circling in confusion is absolutely clear. That version of you is not hypothetical. That is the exact version 18,000 people describe after the receiver was restored. Now we come to the last door. It is the exact door I mentioned earlier and have not returned to since. It has not moved, and everything waiting behind it, your genius switch, is exactly what it was when I first described it. $39 to walk through with a guarantee that costs you absolutely nothing to try. Let me remind you that $39 is not the price. The true price is what you have already been paying every single day. The synchronization stays disrupted. You have my absolute permission to invest in your own restoration. I have watched far too many chosen ones treat their own healing as an extravagance while they spend their entire capacity covering the needs of everyone else. The path to that door is located in the description below and in the comment pinned to this video. Both point to the exact same place. And for the one whose spirit asks what comes after this door, there is a second door. They call it youthful brain, and it will find you when you are ready. And now, standing in this place of profound clarity, if your spirit confirmed what was described earlier about your mind, the door has not closed. Walk through it from this place of peace, not from the noise. The season of your exhaustion is over. May the perfect peace of the Most High guard your restored mind, tonight and forever.